Alrighty. Now I've hit enough rocks with my blade, chainsaw blade, time to give it a little sharpening. So the way this is set up, I've got, let me back up, this is a Harbor Freight. I've got it set up to 30 degrees, both swings, left and right. So right now we're going to be working on this angle, and then we will move this to the other direction, and that will take care of the back side. So hopefully you guys can see this. Alrighty. Now first you want to do is just lay your blade in. Make sure you get your angle of the dangle right. So that's the angles we're looking at, cutting. This here is your blade stop, so you want to use that. And that will make sure that you're in the same right position for the blade to come in and sharpen it up. Also you have a handle here, like a bicycle brake. What that's going to do is hold the blade in place while the grinder comes down and hits it. So let's give it a shot. Let me get my glasses on. Now I've used this many times and it's worked quite well each time. Lock it in. Okay. Nice edge. So another thing too is mark the first one. That way when the blade goes around, you know where you're at. So from here, just rotate it. Come up on the next one. There it is. Pull it back. Squeeze the brake. Pull it back. Squeeze the brake. And by the looks of this blade, it looks like I've tapped a few rocks. Now this whole device is plastic, so as I draw this down, if I'm not contacting hard enough on the edge, I'll just pull back on this. As you can see, the head move a little bit, just to make sure I'm grinding in there. This is not a precision tool, but it does do a decent job. For the money, I think I paid $25 for this whole outfit. And I've probably sharpened 30 blades in here so far last year. I used to sharpen with a file. Take this over a file any day, especially for a full sharpening like this. That's my marine radio. As the crow flies, we're about 3 miles from Watts Lake in Tennessee. Pick up the boats on the river, plus the lock and Watts Bar. Boy, this blade's a mess. see that, but there's a red tooth. Okay, so now I'm going to change the angle here. I'll loosen this up underneath, rotate it, got the other 30-degree marked, tighten her up. That's where I'm up there. So now, line up. There we go. Set up the clamp. Get the first one. Let's mark it. And more. That's what I could rather than chain. This blade's about 3 years old. Been sharpened many times. That's it. We're sharp. Back to the beginning. Pull it out. Yeah, not bad. Alrighty. We got the blade sharpened. We have the bar blown out. You gotta make sure when you change your blade out, you make sure this hole is clear, because that's what delivers oil to your blade up through this slot. There are 2 of them, one on each side. We were running the blade correct this way. Now we're going to go upside down. And I rotate that every time I change the blade, because it gives me more of an even wear. The blade, when you're looking at it from the top side of the bar, you want the cutting edge going that way. That's the way it rotates. Place it around the clutch. I stuck mine in a little bit on the front here. And you can do this any way you want, whatever works good for you. The most important, in the back side, back here, you want to make sure that it's up on the teeth, the clutch. Because if you assemble it below, you're going to damage the clutch and the blade quickly. So, just watch that. Okay, so now she's in the clutch, you can see. She's in the teeth here. I'm going to place the brake cover back on. Now, in this cover, there is a screw here. And that screw controls this pin. Now this pin is in a slot here for a hole, and that's what adjusts the tension on your bar, or the chain. So this may not line up when you put a new chain on, like it isn't right now. That's an easy fix. Take a screwdriver, try backing it off. There you go. Just drop right in there. Put the rear nut on first. Just to keep everything flopping down. Now when I cleaned this all out a few minutes ago, not caught on camera, it is in one of my other videos, I use an air compressor and high pressure nozzle, and I just blow everything out. You don't need to do it that way if you don't have that handy. You can use a brush. But the most important thing is just to get all the heavy debris out. Because if you don't, you try to tighten everything back up, you're tightening it up on debris, and that will cause the chain to come loose. So I'll bring these in, just barely snug. Just a little tension on it, the bar still wiggles a little bit. Now I can tighten up my blade. And you turn it clockwise. And I like having it to the point that I cannot get the teeth beyond the bar edge. So she's too loose right now. Crack these back just a little bit. A lot of different techniques on tightening a blade, but I like it tight. That's about what I like. Just so you can just barely get those pins, the points, down inside here to exit the bar. So we're going to leave it there. Another thing I often do is I'll push up on the bar because that's your angle of cut. Now, with this little wrench, it's really hard to break off these bolts. So I tighten it as tight as I can with the little wrench. And that seems to work most of the time. But you should always check your blade as you're cutting, just to make sure she's staying where you want it to be. Okay, another thing I do, just to get everything pre-lubed, I get some bar and chain oil, put a little puddle on the bar, you can see it there, and then I just tip it, oh you can see that, so the oil's running down, and then I just run the blade around. This oil will draw down, get onto the chain, and give it a nice pre-lube. Yeah, as you can see, it's all wet up here. That's about it. Because then we'll flip her over. Another thing too is, because you're out there running it and a lot of sawdust gets around this edge, I come out about a little bit and then I try to wipe off any loose. If you have a little brush, that's nice too, but wipe out any loose wood chips, because they'll end up in the tank. The filter will catch them, but of course the filter will plug in time. Now my oil on the Husqvarna is always 50 to 1. Has been forever. And that works out handy because my other 2 strokes use that same letdown. And to remind me of that, I do put it on the top of my tank, so there's no guessing down the road. Hi, Kiki. Kiki stopped by, check on the work. What do you think, bud? He's not too interested. Same with the oil. Clear out that lip so you don't drop it into the tank. Just use any good bar and chain oil. Okay, let's take her outside and fire her up. Now this Husky is Husqvarna 455 Rancher. They've had this off for years and it does well. Just maintain it well. Push the decompression button in 5-6 times. Pull out the choke, which brings the kill switch up. Okay, like I said, push in the decompress, 5 or 6 on the bulb, pull the choke out. Good. Everything is here. Everything is all nice and wet. Oiled up. She's all ready for the next cut.